Hi, everyone. Good morning. Um, my name is Ijeoma, and I would like to again thank you for joining us. If you are here in person and if you're joining online, so I want to start off with a quote I got from a book. It's a very big book that Mo gave Samuel, and I said, "Let me try and read it." I said, "Let me just try, right?" And I read the first. I think it's even the introduction. I've not even entered the core of the book, and the guy was already like, I'm more of a videos person. So after I read the book and I got the core, no, I didn't read the book. I read the introduction, I got the core idea. And then I went to go and binge on YouTube about the guy. I think he's a Harvard professor, Steven Pinker, where he was talking about the history of violence in humanity. And one of the things he said was that the historical trajectory of things, of violence, affects not only how life is lived, but how it's understood. What he meant by that was, he asked a question. He said, what more could be more fundamental to a sense of meaning and purpose than the conception of whether the strivings of the human race over long stretches of time have left us better or worse off? This is the year 2024 AD. Civilizations have been on this earth for a very long time. One of the earliest civilizations, at least that archaeologists, anthropologists, and so have records of, is the Sumerians, who lived 4,500 BC. That's not 4,500 years ago. That's 4,500 plus 2,000 years ago, right? And then from there, they have civilizations like the ancient Egyptians, ancient Greeks, Roman, Islamic Caliphate, and it just kept going on to the Renaissance, to the Industrial Revolution, and now we are what is called World Wars and beyond, 20th century to the present. And one of the things that we've realized, we've seen when you check and you read through all of these things, is that people over the years have searched for God, but they haven't found him. You'll be like, no, what do you mean? But people had religions. Yes, they had religions. They had their ideas. They had their customs. They had their so-called answers to questions. But they searched for God and they didn't find him, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a very simple reason. They did not know where they were going, so how could they know the way? You're searching for God, but you don't even know what it is that you're looking for. So how can you know the way to get there? And the religions that have come out from these different civilizations, from these different periods, religions, philosophies, they've all been reflections of man's groaning. There's been that aching, there's been that search that only God can satisfy. Man has been searching for answers. They've been searching for answers to the questions like, what are we here for? How did we get here? How do I reconcile those morals, those things I feel, those deep-seated sense of right and wrong that I have, and what happens to me when I leave this place? The answers, or man's and civilization's attempts to give these answers, have led them to all manners of gods and idols. Like, sometimes don't watch Netflix, just go on YouTube and watch ancient gods or things like that. The stories do usually tap. Like, the creativity of some of those stories, Thor has nothing on them. Like, I'm like, search ancient religions and idols and stories. Like, those gods, man, very dramatic set of people. Man has been searching. They've been searching for these answers. And so, to the best of their ability, they have given what they felt were answers to the question. Some religions will be stronger on how we get here, how we got here, where we are going to. Some will be stronger on how you ought to conduct yourself in this world that we're in. Some are stronger on trying to explain that sense of right and wrong and how you should strive to always do the good thing And then when they strive to do the good thing, they try and explain what the good thing is, about maybe the desires you should have or the desires you shouldn't have. Very interesting journey that man has gone through. But all of these answers have informed their beliefs and their religions and their cultures up to today. The best part, or what I would say the worst part, is the experience itself in mankind's search for these answers hasn't been the best either. I saw another quote that will help me to explain this, right? It says that every day in our lives or in the news, we come face to face with the harshness of reality, the brutality of injustice, and the nagging question that won't go away. Is this all there is? There's this deep aching for love and acceptance. There's the quest for beauty and satisfaction and pleasure. But we've learned through experience that youthfulness doesn't last. Whoever loves money never has enough. And even tech and advancement, they don't heal all wounds. The world still feels empty and alone. And one of the beautiful things, like I said, about the importance of having things like this is, if you can relate to any of these questions, if at any point in time you've ever asked yourself, what's the point? Why are we here? What was the whole? How did I get here? Where am I going to? What am I doing here? You are not alone. That's the other thing you need to understand. You have to take solace in knowing that you have comrades through all the centuries that humanity has lived. People have been thirsting and searching. But alas, there is an answer. I wanted to shout hallelujah. There is an answer. One of Jesus' disciples, Thomas, once said to him, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? And then Jesus answered him and said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to God, no one comes to the Father except through me. That was a very brilliant statement. Thomas is one of the disciples of Jesus. And he said it's that you don't know where you're going. And he was right. And how can we know the way? Because you can't go to where you don't know. And you can't even have an idea of the way. But Jesus answered and told him that I am the way, the truth, and the life. And as the other speakers come and talk, you're going to hear more and more about this person of Jesus. You're going to hear more and more why Christianity believes what we believe in, who we know God to be, what we've learned, and why we are convinced that it's the answer to all of life's questions. But let me just continue with this trajectory. And so from this particular statement is, the first answer is the way. And the way I understand the way, I called it a path to a higher calling, right? Another thing that you're going to hear is that there is a God, and Jesus Christ is actually the only way to him. That is the fundamental answer to the question that all of mankind has been asking for centuries. There is a God, and there is a way to him. Jesus made many claims about himself. Jesus came to say many things and told us many things about God and told us why and how and who. And like I said, my friends are going to be talking more and more about this. Like, I wish we had 48 hours in today so that we could, but we do not. So let me be very mindful of time. But yeah, anyway, Jesus is the way. It's as plain as that. And when you think of the way, don't think of it like if I was trying to describe the way to get to Ojo Elegba and I'm like, go this direction. No, I don't mean in terms of a pointer or a signboard. When we believe that Jesus is the way, what we are saying is not only is he the signboard, he's the road, and he's the carrier that is going to get you there. So when we say he's the way, he's not just pointing you to the answer to the question. He's telling you that that's where you need to go, because remember the question that I said that civilizations have been asking. He's telling you that that's the way to go. I'm the road you're going to use to get there, and I'm going to carry you there as well. He's the truth. What is truth? It's irrevocable fact. Like every time I try to describe truth, I end up using the word truth in truth. Like how do you describe truth without saying truth? So let me permit me to say, it's an irrevocable fact about what is true or what is really happening on a situation. And the nature of truth is that it's exclusive. There are not many truths. There's only one truth, right? Sometimes people might mistake their perspective or their opinions for the truth on a matter, but there can actually only be one truth. Let me try and put it this way. If you know the truth about a thing or a subject or any matter, any question or any principle, once you have an understanding of what is truly applicable about it, you have the power that allows you to make a reliable, dependable, and fruitful decision. What do I mean? If I knew for a fact that if I were to walk off this stage, I will not fall down, like I will levitate, and I knew it was true. Maybe you guys might not know that I have magnets in my shoes and I put magnets here, and so by the principle of magnetism, for whatever reason, I will float. Because I know the truth that there is something there that is going to hold me, I'm going to be confident enough to walk off it. So the nature of truth is that when you have the truth on a matter, you can make a reliable, dependable, and thus have a fruitful answer to whatever decision that you are making. So when Jesus says he's the truth, what he's saying is that of all the different answers and different versions or different ways that you might have tried to answer the question on life, there's actually only one answer. There is only one dependable answer that you can actually bank on. And so that is why when you know the truth, it actually sets you free. If you take anything short of the truth on a situation, it might land you in more gbasgbos, permit me to say it. But it is only the truth that will set you free. Let me give another example. Let's say you were to go to the police station and you knew that, okay, I have received the bill for a certain person who's been arrested, and I can go boldly into the police station and demand that they release the person. If the person that gave you that information was a certain young-looking man walking on the street and just tells you, hey, your friend in the police station, you can go, I've bailed the person out. I've also called the commissioner. They are going to release the person, right? If you knew the person that was telling you that information and you knew it to be true, you have the confidence to go and demand the release of whoever it is that you're demanding. But if it was just some random person that you have no idea of, or let's say it's one of your friends who jests a lot and you know it's not true, permit me to say, them no born you well to go to police station and begin to demand for a certain thing based on something that might or might not be true. So the nature of truth is, one, it's exclusive. Two, because it is dependable and reliable and it will yield fruit, is the only thing that can set you free. So all the different pangings and longings that the world has been having, they will continue to have that, but unless they have the actual thing that can set them free, they can never be free. And so Jesus Christ said he's the truth. He's the real account of what's actually going on here. And the spirit of this truth is one that recognizes it, is one that recognizes God. The truth of Jesus is the true light that gives light to everyone who came into this world, is Jesus. The truth of this matter is the fact that he was actually in this world. He walked on this same earth that we are living and we are standing and we're breathing in. And though he was in the world was made through him. The world did not recognize him. And he went to his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, to those who believed in this truth, he gives the right to become children of God. And then lastly, Jesus Christ is actually the life. When you think of the concept of life, the two ways I like to think about it is a state of being and is an experience in which you go through. And so Jesus Christ actually also made that claim about himself to say that not only am I the way, not only am I the truth, I'm actually the life, in the sense that the state in which a person has to be and the experience in which the person will go through their journey on earth comes from me. Another thing that was said about Jesus is that in him is life. And another way, one of his disciples, the one whom described himself as the one that Jesus loved, Apostle John, the beloved, the way he described it was, he said about Jesus that in him was life, and that this life is the light of all mankind. Jesus came actually to give mankind what they could never get on their own. Light. Remember how I started when I said mankind has been looking for a direction to go to and how to get there. And so Jesus Christ came to first say, this is actually the direction you should go to, and I am the way to get there. That information is an illumination. That information is light. And so that is why when a person comes to that realization, when a person comes to that light, it can shine in their hearts. It can shine in the darkness of the groping, of the trying to figure out what life is, and the darkness will be dispelled. Because darkness means that you actually don't have an answer on a matter, but when the light comes, you now have the answer, which is Jesus is the answer. And so the world was in darkness till he came. There was no way out of it, but Jesus came to light the way. And so that's why Jesus would say about himself that I have come into this world as a light so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. So everything you've been looking for, the question the world has been looking for, the water that the world has been looking for to satisfy them is in Jesus. And everything that you ever do on earth means nothing without him, because it's truth. And everything hereafter will be without life. And so one thing I always say, and I'd like to wrap up today saying, is that you don't have the luxury of using your one ticket to death to test out different theories. It makes sense that the one proven to have died and resurrected is actually the way, the truth, and the life. And you also can't use your one chance at life to also test the theories. If you have the truth, it's what will actually set you free. And so the Christian worldview already answers these questions, irrevocably so, because it's the truth, and shows you the actual way to do life here on earth. And it's the one that has meaning and the answers to all the questions. Thank you very much.